Children are buckled into car seats, boosters, and then seatbelts when they ride in an automobile. However, there's one form of child transportation that has no child safety restraints when it rolls down the road. The federal government wants seatbelts installed in every school bus. News 7's Ryan Jenot takes a look at the Vermont response.
I love the kids. I love being the one that they see first thing in the morning. I love being the one to send them off to start their day in a good way. I love watching them grow up. I think that's the part of my job that keeps me driving.
Meet bus driver Denise Briggs, a Danville native and the school's transportation coordinator. Briggs is following in her father's footsteps.
He talked me into trying the bus driving, and 18 years later, I do not ever get out of bed in the morning and not want to come to work.
Her job is to keep children safe, but she has never heard this sound after she's buckled in behind the wheel. There are no seatbelts for bus passengers. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administrator Mark Rosekind wants to change that, saying, quote, "It's time to stop talking about what we can't accomplish, because every child on a bus seat without a seatbelt means more risk of serious injury to precious cargo." The NHTSA says from 2003 through 2012, 174 school-aged children died in school transportation-related crashes in the United States. Of those 174 deaths, 55 were occupants of school transportation vehicles, while 119 were pedestrians. Briggs is more worried about getting kids out of those seats during an emergency than she is concerned about keeping them in their seats.
I transport 3, 4, 5, and 6-year-olds that would have a hard time getting themselves unbuckled and out of a bus.
Butler's bus service fleet manager Darlene Jewell agrees.
If there's an emergency, I don't know how you would get all the students off, because they're all going to be seatbelted, and I think it's kind of a scary thing, actually.
In order for seatbelts to be mandated on school buses, Senate Transportation Chairman Dick Mazza says there are many questions to be answered.
I think most people would want to know, number one, what's the reason you want to do it? Number two, what's the cost factor? Number three, who's going to supervise it? And so those are all issues that really have to be addressed.
Mazza says a bill hasn't reached his desk in close to 5 years, but if it ever does happen, we need to be prepared for it. As for parents, some believe the buses should have seatbelts.
Well, my kids have never been in a dangerous situation riding the bus, but I'm sure, they come across them all the time. Bumps in the road, little fender benders can be a big deal if you don't wear a seatbelt. So I don't know why we wouldn't just buckle them in, or at least attempt to, on a bus.
But Briggs isn't convinced.
My own conclusion is that seatbelts on school buses aren't going to cut those numbers from the very small that they already are down to nothing.
No matter what the future holds for seatbelts on school buses, Briggs will always look to keep her riders safe. Reporting for the Vermont Center for Community Journalism, I'm Ryan Jenot.
Belts on buses are already required in Florida, Louisiana, New Jersey, New York, and Texas. Currently in Alabama, a 3-year study is being done to see how effective 3-point belts work.